Are we
No
gonna
fault
act
divorce has
like
been around for
our
quite a while.
grandmothers did not have to be married because one, they didn't work, never had a job, didn't have much of an education. That's some of them. That was one of my grandmothers. The other one had education and a very good job. However, back in the day, you didn't leave your husband. You had kids. Where were you gonna go? You got multiple kids. Where are you going? You can't move in with your family. You got multiple kids. You got to stay with that
And they
man.
wasn't stepping
Also,
back then either.
they couldn't have bank accounts. They couldn't buy property. They couldn't do anything. They had to have a man to live a life because they couldn't stay in their parents' house because their parents weren't gonna keep taking care of them. They had to get married to someone so that they can be taken care of. Let's not act like that didn't happen. And
So
that
to
wasn't
Sweeney's
even a
point,
hundred years ago.
Actually, so she's speaking like as if a woman has a job, she's just gonna leave a man and take care of everything for them by themselves. No, they still file for child support. So which is better? For a marriage, for two people to stay in a marriage in a two-parent household for the kids, or is it better for someone to break up the family because they got a job and they can make money and become a single parent? Which is better for the community?
to
Actually,
Sweeney's point, freedom broke. So to Sweeney's point, freedom broke the home. If that's the case,
facts.
Actually,
That's what I just
single
said.
women were able to open up bank accounts and buy homes and own property.
When?
It was they've always been almost probably since like the 1920s. The only difference
Nope.
was that married women had to answer like, hey, if you were married, you had to have your husband sign off on it because he was more than likely the responsible the person who had to bear the responsibility of the debt. But a single woman could open up a bank account if she wanted to. She was
Facts.
not hindered to it. It just so happened that most of the women back then
1960s.
no,
1960s.
that's for women who
1960s.
that's for women who are married. Single women were always
Women, period.
No, it wasn't women, period. You got to read the article.
Okay.
Can you share the article that we're talking about?
well, I just looked it up. Here you go. Voting rights, 1920, women gained the right to vote in 19th Amendment. Bank accounts, 1960 to the 1970s, women began to open bank accounts more freely. That's not including black women because we know there was a lot of bias. If you was a white-owned bank, you still, even though they gave black women the right or women the right, they still had pushback against black women open bank accounts until we really got some traction on that. 1974, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act made it legal to deny a woman credit or bank account. So 1974, they came in with a equal credit opportunity that made it okay. So it made it illegal to deny a woman credit or bank account. And then
so people could just deny me a credit card because I was a woman?
Yes.
Not because I didn't.
Yeah.
So let's not act like
before
whatever reason they chose
wasn't a thing.
Before that date. Now
the thing was that the reason why a lot of women weren't able to, they had the ability. It was never illegal for them to not open up bank accounts as single women. The problem is that single women never really had the income or the ability to a lot of the times, and they often required co-signers. So it was more difficult for women to open up bank accounts because of the financial aspect of it. So it was easy to deny a woman. So she often would require like somebody to co-sign for it. Y'all know how people felt about co-signing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So that's why
banks used to require a husband's signature.
Yeah, if she was married, she required a husband's signature. But if she was single, she could get one. But oftentimes, if you're a single woman, you didn't make
regardless of marital status.
How do you? No, I'm telling you right now.
She had to go and get married. I'm telling you.
No, she did not. I'm telling you, she did not have to go and get married to open up a bank account. I'm telling you.
Why would they make an act? Why?
I definitely gonna make some research on that, but I've seen that back in the day, there were women who are business owners, so clearly they had bank accounts. There were single women who used to have businesses back in the day, but they were single, but they were mostly white women, so they had access to banks and they were not married. So clearly they could have bank accounts, but I think banks just had more strict rules for women to open bank accounts if they're not married, because if they didn't have a business, then it was going to be tougher, I think.
Why would they make Hold on real quick. Why would they make in 1974, why would they make the Equal Credit Opportunity Act? Why would they make it illegal to deny a woman credit?
Because people were discriminating.
Because people were
Wait, he didn't even
discriminated.
finish his
Let me finish the wording so we can understand the context of why the wording even exists. Why in 1974 did they make a act that made it illegal to deny a woman credit or bank account simply because of her sex or marital status?
Because
For this,
people,
so why would they include marital
I'm
status in the
explaining.
link?
Let me explain it.
Before this, banks often required a husband's signature. So if you
If she was married, if she was married, if she
Yeah,
was
Yeah, because the
single,
point they were making is if they were single, they weren't able to get bank accounts, and this what Sweeney's saying debunks that.
but even if she
if
was
she had a
married,
marital
she
status,
could
if her marital
deposit
status was
funds.
married,
no, if she,
okay,
it
what
was
is
women
not,
could
I'm
deposit
I'm telling you what it
funds.
was.
They
It,
All right, I'm gonna. Looks like they all don't agree, but I know for sure there used to be some business women who had access to bank accounts and are not married. But I just know they are white women, Caucasian women, you know. So that's the part of history I know. I'll have to just, do more history about that. They weren't into the whole history and bank accounts. I wanted them to focus on the marriage aspect. So link down below to finish the video to Lapif.